Ranger here, another episode of Phoam Ranger Sports. This one we are recapping a massive victory on the road for Boise State as they basically took Wyoming behind the woodshed and did belt ass by a final score of 81-65. Broncos won by nearly 20 points despite only being favored going into the game by 1.5 points, and Ken Pop predicting Wyoming to win by 2. It was a dominant game for the Broncos. It was 38-18 at half, including a 27-4 run for the Broncos to go into halftime. So that was impressive. The Broncos did lose the second half, 43-47, but still, 81-65. A final score is impressive. I was thinking defense would travel, but our offense traveled pretty dang well in this game. Probably one of the best road offensive performances we've had in a little bit in regulation. Overall, we shot 49%, 29-59, compared to 45% for the Cowboys, 23-51. For 3-point range, we shot above our average. We were 38% for beyond the arc, 10-26. Wyoming was below their average at 26%, 5-19. And for first time this year, probably first time a little bit, the Broncos were perfect from the charity stripe, hitting all 13. Whereas Wyoming was 14 of 18 for 78%. The Broncos took care of the ball really well, only turned it over 8 times, which averages to 4 per half. Wyoming turned over 11 times. We had 12 points off Wyoming turnovers. They only got 6 points off our turnovers. We had 30 total boards. They had 28. Both teams had 7 O boards. We have 5 second chance points. Wyoming had 8. So we lost 7, but we held to under 10 second chance points, which is impressive. It's always impressive and always great when we can hold an opponent to under 10 points, 10 second chance points in a game. We had 18 points from our bench. They have 15 from their bench. We had 36 points of paint. They have 32. We really ran the floor pretty well. 15 fast break points, only 6 for them. We blocked 3 shots. We only blocked 1 of ours. We have 5 steals. They had 3. 14 assists for the Broncos, 8 for Wyoming. Wyoming only tied the game once. They led for 2 minutes 9 seconds. There were 5 lead changes. We led the game for 20 minutes 38 seconds. Wyoming led for 9 minutes 13 seconds. Broncos' largest lead was 23 with 5:20 left in the game, 68-45. Largest run for the Broncos was 18 points. Wyoming, they last led with 7:57 left in the first half, 14-13. Their largest lead was 5 points. With 13:06 left in the first half, 8-3. Their largest run was 10-0. In terms of the game, Dylan Andrews did foul out, but in 25 minutes played, he had a really efficient 14 points, 4 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, and hit all 3 free throws. He had a board, 2 assists. R.J. Keenan in the game played 28 minutes. He had another 3. He was 1 of 2 from beyond the arc. 4 boards, 3 assists, 3 fouls in 28 minutes. Andrew Meadow, 27 minutes. He had a team leading 21 points on 8 of 10 shooting, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, and hit both free throws. 3 boards, 1 foul in 27 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and name Andrew Meadow our player of the game. Drew Fielder in 28 minutes of action, had 15 points on 6 of 11 shooting, missed both threes, hit all 3 free throws. He was a board shy of a double-double. He also had 3 assists and no fouls in this game. Jen Buchanan played 25 minutes, had 10 points on a pretty cold 3 of 11 shooting overall, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc, and 3 of 3 from 30 straight, but love to see him be shooting like 40% or above, because 3 of 11, that's barely about 33%. And I know he's better than that. I believe he can be a high volume shooter. He also had 2 boards, 1 assist, 1 foul, 1 turnover. From the bench, A.G. Neto played 15 minutes. He had 2 points, 1 for 4 from the floor, 0 from 3, 2 boards, 2 assists, 3 fouls, 4 turnovers. So that's something he still got to work on. Take better care of the ball. Bond Bull only played 3 minutes, no stats. Pina Carmichael played 21 minutes off the bench, had 8 points on 2 of 7 shooting, 2 of 6 from beyond the arc, and hit both free throws, 4 boards, 1 assist, 2 fouls. Dominic Perlin played 12 minutes from the bench, had 4 points. He was 2 of 3 from the floor and a board. Rajon Burgesson played for a minute. Sounds like Liam wasn't really too happy with the Neto towards the end of the game. Almost turned the ball over, called an unnecessary timeout. So I think he's subbing to Rajon to close out the game as a point guard for Neto. Spencer Ahrens was the final Bronco to play in the game. He had 15 minutes, 4 points, 2 of 4 shooting, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc, 3 boards, 2 assists, 1 foul, 2 turnovers. Overall, the Broncos had 30 boards, 14 assists, 16 fouls, 8 turnovers. In the second half, the Broncos were 14 of 30 for 47%, 6 of 15 from beyond the arc for 40%, hit on 9 free throws, 14 boards, 6 assists, 9 fouls, and 4 turnovers in the second half. For Wyoming, Rojas, number 0, 26 minutes played, only 2 points, 1 of 7 overall, over 3 from beyond the arc. Had 3 boards, 3 assists, 1 foul, 1 turnover. Number 3, Bennett, 36 minutes, 7 points, 1 of 5 from the floor, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc, and 4 of 5 from Charity Stripe. He had 10 boards, 2 assists, 3 fouls, 4 turnovers. The main reason why Wyoming was in this game, especially in the second half, in terms of trying to compete, why they only lost by 16 instead of by 20 plus, was because the number 5 Walker, in 35 minutes played, he had 30 points on 10 of 17 shooting, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc, and hit all 8 free throws, a board, assist, 2 fouls, and a turnover. Then Gores, number 11, 23 minutes played, 8 points, 3 of 5 from the floor, hit both free throws, 4 boards, 1 assist, 3 fouls, 3 turnovers. Sadi, number 35, 21 minutes played, 3 points, 1 of 2 from beyond the arc, 1 board, 2 fouls, 1 turnover. Dennis, 22 minutes, 8 points, 4 of 8 from the floor, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc, and 0 for 2 from Charity Stripe, 4 boards, 1 assist, 2 fouls. Saxon, number 8, 18 minutes, 0 for 2 from the floor, 0 for 3, 2 boards, 2 fouls. Magasa, number 10, 1 minute played, 1 foul. Harako, number 13, 18 minutes, 7 points, 3 of 5 from the floor, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, and misses free throw and a foul. And Spielman, number 14, played a minute, no stats. In the second half, the Wyoming shot 15 of 25 for 60%, 5 of 10 from beyond the arc, and 12-13 for Charity Stripe for 92%. 10 boards, 5 assists, 11 fouls, 3 turnovers. The first half, the Broncos were 15 of 29 for 52%, 4 of 11 from beyond the arc for 36%, hit all 4 free throws, 16 boards, 8 assists, 7 fouls, 4 turnovers. In the first half, Wyoming was 8 of 26 for 31%, 0 for 9 for 3-point range, and 2 of 5 from Charity Stripe for 40%, 18 boards, 3 assists, 6 fouls, 8 turnovers. And the Broncos do host Air Force on Saturday. And so I mean that Bronco Nation, you can get balcony seats for $5 since they only allowed 5 threes to Wyoming in this game. In the second half, again, I already mentioned it. The half stats again, 14 of 30 for the Broncos, 47%, 6 of 15 from 3-point range for 40%. Held on 9 free throws, 14 boards, 6 assists, 9 fouls, 4 turnovers. For Wyoming, 15 of 25 for 60%, 5 of 10 from beyond the arc at 12-13. For Charity Stripe, 10 boards, 5 assists, 11 fouls, 3 turnovers. terms of plus minus in defense, Uriah Rojas was minus 23 in the game. Kanan Bennett was minus 6 with a steal. He also had four of his 10 boards were offensive. Leland Walker was minus 13. His rebound was on the offensive glass. Gavin Gores was minus 9. He had 2 offensive boards. Half of his rebounds were on the offensive glass. Sim Sadi was minus 21 with a block shot and a steal. Demario Dennis was minus 4 with the steal. Keone Saxon was minus 7. Abu Magasa was minus 2. Adam Haurko was minus 3. And Gary Spielman was minus 2. So it's a more advanced stats. Wyoming was 9 of 19 on layups, 1 on 1 from dunks. They had 60 possessions, 30 scores. They averaged 1.08 points per possession, scoring on 50% of their possessions, turning it over 18% of their possessions. Whereas for Boise State, Dylan Andrews was plus 10 with a block shot. R.J. Keene, one of his 4 boards, was on the offensive glass. He was plus 7 with a steal. Andrew Meadow had 1 offensive board, 2 defensive. He was plus 3. Drew Fielder was plus 16. He had 3 offensive boards. So a third of his boards were on the offensive glass. He also had 2 block shots. Jamin Buchanan was plus 9 with the steal. AJ Neto was plus 4 with the steal. Bon Buom was minus 3. Pino Carmichael was plus 25. A quarter of his rebounds was offensive. Dominic Perlin was plus or minus 0 with the steal. Rayshawn Burgesson was plus 2. And Spencer Ahrens was plus 7 with the steal and with 1 offensive board. Broncos were 10 of 18 on layups, 4 of 5 on dunks. They had 63 possessions, 34 scores. The Broncos averaged 1.29 points per possession. Broncos scoring on 54% of their possessions, turning it over on 12.7% of our possessions. So again, a dominant, belt to ass, took one behind the woodshed kind of game. The Broncos moved to 11-8 on the season and 3-5 in conference play. Wyoming dropped to, I think, 11-7 as well. So I think going into, I'll just quick look at the score. Yep, Broncos moved to 11-8. Wyoming dropped to 11-8. Both teams are now 3-5 in conference play. So again, a massive win for the Broncos. One that's really going to help their metrics because Wyoming is a solid team. I mean, they were down without 3 players, including one of their premier freshmen. So Wyoming was a little depleted going to this one, but I don't think anyone really was expecting the Broncos to dominate like this and win by nearly 20 points on the road at Laramie, which is like over 7,000 feet in altitude. Yeah, a lot of teams don't put up this kind of performance on the road at Wyoming that often. So, again, a real big win for the Broncos. Again, a game that, according to KenPom, they're predicted to lose by 2 points on the road. A game where Vegas, according to ESPN Bet, and the score bet was saying Boise State would have only won by 1.5 points. Well, this is a 16-point win for the Broncos. So, just quickly trying to pull up the recap of this game. Well, let's see if a recap has been uploaded yet because it's almost 10 p.m. I think there is one. Yep, there is a recap up. You have second consecutive conference victory, so the Broncos are definitely trending in the right direction now. The Broncos Again, 81-65 is the seventh time the Broncos have scored 80-plus points in a game this season. Broncos advanced to 27-15 all time against the Cowboys and 22-7 in the Laradise era. This win is 7 in a row against the Cowboys, and the Broncos have won 19 of the last 21, meaning dating back to January of 2016. This is the Broncos' 6th win by 10-plus points this season. Broncos have made at least 90% of its charity stripe attempts for the 5th time this season in game. That number is tied with Lipscomb and St. Mary's for second most by team in the nation. With this second road win of the year, the Broncos have won 25 road conference games since the start of the 21-22 campaign. The 25 wins are the most by Mountain West team in that span. Broncos this season are 11-0 when having a lead at the halftime. For the second time this season, the Broncos have 5 players who scored multiple assists in the same game. Last time they accomplished this season was against University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Andrew Meadow's 21 points was his 9th career 20-point game and 4th this season. Andrew Fielder notched his team-leading 14th double-figure scoring effort while setting a season high with 2 blocks in this game. And let's just quickly look back at the numbers for the assists from our point guards, because it has been trending upward. So, let's see here. Drew Fielder had 3 as a big. Dylan Andrews had 2. Dylan Andrews for the Broncos had 2 assists, and A.J. Neto had 3, or 2 as well. So our point guards, our primary point guards, had 4 total. So a quarter of our assists came from our point guards. Well, about a quarter. We have 14 assists. Those 2 combined for 4. So we'd love to see a little more assisting by our point guards and Dylan Andrews and A.J. Neto. But still, overall, a heck of a performance for the Bronco men. And I should mention, Wyoming dropped to 2-6 or 2-5 going into this game, so Wyoming is now 2-6 in conference play. So I mean that by Saturday, Boise State could be closer to the top 6, and Wyoming's gonna be closer to San Jose State and Air Force at the bottom of the conference. So massive win for the Broncos, not only point spread, but also getting over the early conference season doldrums, starting to put those games on the back burner. And yeah, 2-game win streak, including a win at Laradise, which is always a little tricky. Again, I think Wyoming beat UNLV pretty handily. That was at home for Wyoming, for the Cowboys. And quickly take a look at that. Yeah, they beat UNLV at home by 32. They lost to Grand Canyon by 12. Lost by 27 to San Diego State. Or, no, sorry, not 27, 17. Yeah, they lost by 17 to San Diego State, so we did better than both GCU. Well, similar. We scored 81, they scored 82, but we only allowed like a 65. They allowed 70, so So this is a bit of a statement by the Broncos that Boise State is starting to get their act together, even more so. And if Boise State keeps improving this way, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with as we get deeper to the conference lane and as we get closer to the conference tournament in Vegas in March. I mean, Boise State keeps trending the way they are right now. They could win it all in March. Because the kind of basketball they played against UNLV, against Colorado State, and tonight, they could potentially beat anyone in the conference and make a case for being the conference champions and be cutting down the nets in Las Vegas in a couple months. So, yep, still got a lot of basketball to play, but right now we're trending to be that kind of team. So, all in all, a great performance and a much-needed belt-to-ass game given out by Boise State on the road to the Wyoming Cowboys.